Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Greg with the Dapper Man. We're actually going to be doing a review of the Perdomo Craft Series Amber cigar. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. I'm here with Matt at the Grand Junction Smoke Lounge, also known as the Ram Smoke Lounge. And as I stated earlier, we are going to be reviewing the Perdomo Craft Series cigars. This is the Amber. There are several out there, the Stout, the Amber, a bunch of others. Today we're going to be doing the Amber. And we're actually going to be pairing it with two different beers. The first is the Guinness Blonde, which is an American lager. And Matt, what's the other one?
We've also got the Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout from New Holland Brewing Company.
Okay. I've never had the Dragon's Milk, but it sounds fantastic. So let's go ahead and take the wrappers off here. As you can see, it's a massive wrapper. These are 100% Nicaragua tobacco, binder, long leaf filler, and sun-grown wrapper. Oh, there are actually two, excuse me, there are two wrappers here, or two.
Very unique.
There we go. Like I said, it's 100% from Nicaragua tobacco. And according to Cigars International, it's a medium full to a full-bodied cigar with leather, spice, and oak. And it will map well or pair well with hop-forward beers like Ambers, Pale Ales, Lagers, IPAs, and Oktoberfests. So Matt, what are you going to cut yours with?
Let's see here. For a cigar such as this, I'm probably going to end up with a V cutter on this one. Get a little bit more of a focused cut.
Yeah. This one. The one we have here is actually a Gordo, so it's a 6x60. I agree. I think I'm going to do the V cutter as well. So we have the V cuts there. Now let's go ahead and light them up.
All right. You first, my good man.
Okay. This one is Zycar lighter?
Yes, indeed.
Very nice. I usually torch the foot first just a little bit. I'll blow through it. And then I'll go ahead and just a little more. Yep, there we go.
All right. Very vented on the foot, I find. That's actually kind of very interesting for the bold Perdomos.
So we're going to do 3 different stages here. We'll do the first third, middle third, and kind of the last third. So what are you tasting? Can you taste anything yet?
You know, honestly, off the top, not really. I mean,
Okay.
you're getting, of course, your standard tobacco, but nothing just yet.
I am getting a little bit of cocoa, strangely enough.
Let's see how the milk goes with it.
Oh, that's a darker beer.
A little bit. The last time I actually had a craft cigar, I can't remember which one it was though at this time. I tried a couple of different beers with it just to kind of see how the flavors complemented each other, and I find that even though it is a slightly darker beer, it actually, the milk goes well with more of your light cigars. So, man, I love that taste. Now I'm starting to get some of that cocoa in there. There we go. That's starting to burn smoother now. This is one of the reasons I like doing these things in lounges. You get that background comedy every once in a while.
Absolutely. Not getting any of the leather. Maybe a little bit on the finish. I think my spice palate is so jacked up from living in New Mexico for so long. I can't taste spicy anymore.
Yeah.
I went to dinner with the team, and we went to have Indian food. I got the chicken biryani. I asked them for the hottest they could make it, and it was a medium. I was like, yep. Yeah, Bill, come on in.
What's going on, Big Bill?
Are you doing your...
Yeah, we're good though.
Good to go, man. It's your lounge. Yeah, the way that my mother used to make all of her food is kind of the same way. Spices really don't stick out that much for me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little bit of that leather in there.
Okay.
It's not overpowering though, which is
No.
nice. Mostly on the retro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still getting a lot of the oak. I'm sorry, a lot of the cocoa. So we're going to continue smoking these, pair these with the beer here, and we'll come back in a couple of minutes for you. All right, we're back. We're about, what, half an inch in?
I'd say about a half of an inch.
And just wanted to give you a quick update here. As you can see, the ash is very, very fine, very, very white. That usually indicates a good amount of potassium in the soil, if I remember correctly.
If I remember correctly as well, it's potassium in the soil.
It's the burn is just fantastic. As you can see, it's very, very even, no big runs. And when we lit it, the ash kind of stayed exactly the way it was. It didn't collapse in on itself.
Yeah.
And is it canoeing? Well, it's not canoeing. What do we call it when it kind of just bores in the middle?
Tunneling.
Tunneling. Thank
Tunneling,
you.
yes indeed.
No tunneling. So that's fantastic.
Not even slightly.
Now, what were you saying? What notes were you getting?
You know, honestly, as it's gone on a little bit farther in, I'm still getting a good amount of cocoa. I'm just starting to get a little bit of that leather. Not too much. It's kind of up at the top of your mouth as you get your first pull in, then the cocoa overtakes it. But on the retrohale, I'm actually starting to get a little bit more of the leather as well. So it's starting to get a little bit more thick.
Excuse me. Wow. I just did a full retrohale. Just got a full schnoz full of that spice. Woo.
Yep, it's there. He ain't wrong.
And I love spicy food. I'm actually from New Mexico. And so my spice meter is, excuse me while I dab my eyes. My spice meter is usually pretty far up there. I was telling him this last week we went to an Indian restaurant, and I actually got the got it at the spiciest they could make it. And for me, it was only kind of a medium hot. But man, that retrohale just really kicked my butt on the spice.
The retrohale will always get you on that spice.
Yeah.
And one thing, I'm not sure if you folks can see it or not out there in the internet land, but up here inside of the ash, even though we're getting a good amount of flavor profiling, there really isn't any teeth inside of the ash. Mm-hmm. So most of that flavor is definitely coming from inside of the rolled tobacco, not the wrapper or binder.
Yep.
So how would you say it's pairing with your blondie there?
Actually, really, really well.
It is.
I'm getting a lot of smoky flavor.
Kind of a smoky off of the.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Then you have a sip of beer and get like a lot of barbecue smoke, like mesquite or something like that.
Yeah. I found
It's
that
like a barbecue brisket.
Now that is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of finding that the mix between the dragon's milk and this is kind of giving a little bit more of I guess you could say kind of a vanilla cocoa taste to it.
Interesting.
Between the two blends. It definitely sticks towards the back of your mouth after you're done with your pull.
Ash is starting to kind of bend a little bit, but it is a long fill, so it shouldn't just start flaking off and falling off, which is good. See how long I can keep it going before I dump it all over my shirt.
Oh, don't worry, I'm wearing black. It's going to show on mine before yours.
All right, so we'll be back once we're a little bit closer to the band here, and we'll give you an update. All right, we're back. Not too much further in, as you can see, about an inch and a half. It started to canoe a little bit, so I just had to roll mine over. So now, as you can see, mine's up on top. The ash is holding together pretty well. It's starting to flake a little bit, but if you can kind of see there, the vein on the leaf, you can still see that in the ash.
Yeah.
And what about yours?
With mine, it's starting to get a little bit interesting. We're getting a little bit of a run down here, so I had to flip her over as well. Mine's holding veins pretty well as well on the top and on the side right here. Flavor profile wise, it's really kind of still the same. There hasn't been too much of a change. I'm starting to get a little bit more of the cocoa, a little bit more. But at the same time, I'm definitely starting to taste a lot more of the leather as we get deeper in.
That's good.
Still not picking up on that oak though. I don't know where it is.
Maybe it's a little bit further down. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit more of the leather. I get a little bit of the oak, just like when you very first inhale. But as soon, at least for me, as soon as I get like half a second in, it's gone. It's just obliterated by that cocoa.
Yeah, definitely so.
And I'm getting, of course, with that Guinness Blonde, I am getting more of the that barbecue. It tastes kind of like burnt ends or brisket if you taste the Guinness right after you take a hit off the cigar.
Yeah, definitely. So with the milk stout, it's actually giving a little bit of a hybrid taste. I'm starting to get a little bit more of the vanilla bean cocoa as well with the cocoa flavoring.
Okay. Ash is starting, like I said, a couple little flakes off here and there. I'll probably ash this here pretty quickly just so I don't drop it on my shirt. Again, with my luck today, let's see, seared my sinuses with that retrohale, tried to inhale and had to cough up a lung. So yeah, I'll definitely ash this here pretty quickly. Well, that's all for now. We'll be back in a little bit for another update. Alright, so we're back now. We both ashed our cigar. I did mine purposefully. He didn't. Let's see. Mine's still canoeing a lot, so we're going to go ahead and just catch this up here with the lighter here real quick. Now, you were saying you were getting a bunch of cocoa now, right?
Now that we're about a third of the way in, the cocoa is definitely starting to make more of a predominant presence inside of the cigar. The leather has definitely started to lay back on top of it.
Yes, I'm also getting a lot of leather now. And for my cocoa, I'm actually getting sweet cocoa. So it's more of a dark chocolate. So that's really good.
The biggest thing I find so far is the fact that even though the ash itself did drop, I'm not getting the tunnel on the area where I'm starting to get the run. It's starting to tunnel up a little bit right here.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm probably going to have to toast mine a little bit up towards the brim anyway as well.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and even these up. We're pretty close to the band now. We'll smoke a little bit more, and we'll come back with another update. Okay, let's give another update here real quick. So we took off the bands. We've kind of touched up the burn a little bit. I have a little bit of a very tiny crack that was just being hidden by the wrapper there. Matt, you said yours kind of...
mine's got a little bit of a tear in it. It's actually not through the binder itself. It's just the wrapper. I'm willing to bet it's probably just a little bit of glue got on it.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing really going on. It hasn't affected the draw at all. It's still a powerhouse smoker.
Definitely getting more leather now. The cocoa is a little more subtle.
A little bit more.
Now that we're about halfway through the stick?
Close. Very close. I would definitely have to say the spice is starting to make a little bit of a comeback as well. The roof of my mouth is starting to get it more, and the cocoa is starting to settle more towards the tongue.
Here's a question for you. Every now and then, I'll actually just blow through the cigar. Do you ever do that?
Every now and again I will, if I find it's starting to get a little bit on the hot side, if I'm smoking a little bit too quick. I generally will not. That's solely because I have had so many times where I've blown through it a little bit and the ash just boom.
Well, I've never had it, shoot off, but I definitely had it fall off when I do that. The reason you'll blow through the cigar sometimes is, again, to cool it off a little bit. But you also kind of put, when you suck on the cigar, you're getting all that tar and everything, all that gunk, closer and closer to the foot of the cigar. So So when you kind of blow through it, it kind of redistributes it towards the head.
That is very true.
Now, also saying that this is I'm going to classify this as a full-bodied cigar. I'm almost not lightheaded, but I'm getting almost a little bit of a buzz. Probably because I'm smoking a little too fast and I'm pairing this with a beer.
Yeah, that is very true. I would have to agree. I wouldn't necessarily put it at a full cigar just yet, but then again, I mean, as you can see, I'm not completely halfway down yet.
Right.
I would definitely say it is definitely a medium to full, though. I'm starting to get a little bit of the same thing off of the milk.
Yeah. So we're going to smoke these down a little bit more, and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Like I said, we've removed the bands. We've touched up the burn a little bit. Matt, you were saying where your wrapper kind of...
Yeah, where we got a little bit of a tear in the wrapper initially, has started to crack a bit because of the bulb from the cherry. It's not getting to the point where it's splitting the binder just yet. However, I can tell it's starting to get there. Right now, it's just the wrapper. So yeah, probably let mine cool for a little bit, just to try and easy down the cherry, if you will.
And yours was further up in the wrapper than mine. So I'm actually at the point where my little tear was. So it's not affecting mine at all at this point. Taste-wise, the cocoa is almost gone. I'm getting more of the leather. Still some of the spice. Spice is still pretty mild. But yeah, definitely getting more leather at this point. So we'll smoke these a little bit more and come back with another update for you. So Matt, you said you're finally up to that split?
Yeah, finally up to it. Thankfully it didn't end up splitting anymore, and the binder is still well off and intact. Not
Very
any
good.
issues other than that. And finally I got that big old hill I had up here evened out.
Very good. Anything new in the tasting?
You know, to be honest, not really. I'm still getting a lot more of the cocoa. A faint couple hints of leather here and there. The spice is definitely on the retrohale, but that's where it's staying. I'm not getting anything else other than that.
A lot of leather. Cocoa on the aftertaste, not during the actual inhale or exhale. And I'm getting a little bit of coffee underneath the cocoa. So as you can see, we're in our final third of the cigar. Any other burn issues? I know you had to even it up a couple times.
Of course, did have to even it up a couple of times. Other than that, small minor runs that even themselves out almost instantly. The cherry does get a little bit warm after a little bit, but of course that could simply be because I was smoking a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
Other than that, nothing else really to come with it. I mean, it just sort of takes care of itself, and it's got to be one of the smoothest burning sticks I've had in a while.
Absolutely. We actually were talking about it earlier, off camera. It's rolled really, really well. It's not too tight. It's not loose. And as you can see, our V-cuts are actually holding up very, very well.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, sometimes you do a V-cut and it kind of just disintegrates on you after a while. These are holding their shape and not falling apart on us.
Definitely. So I would definitely have to agree with that. I mean, even though mine does have a minor little tear right here at the base towards the side, the crown itself is still holding very well. The inner tobaccos aren't splitting, which you usually get.
Yep.
So that I would definitely say that the head itself is built very well.
Absolutely. So we'll do some more smoking on these, and we'll come back maybe once, maybe twice more, and give you a final review. Alrighty, I'm a little bit further along. I'm down to the nub. Matt here has been a little bit slower. That's okay.
Trying to ease up on that crack there a little bit because I'm starting to get a little bit of a tunnel inside of it there.
So final reviews. Any new flavor notes? Anything changing on the flavor?
You know, as we got a little bit deeper in, it's gotten affected because of that tunnel a lot, unfortunately. But I did start picking up on a lot more of the spice towards the end of it. I lost pretty much all of the leather now, finally. but the cocoa is definitely still there. The pole, of course, has gotten a lot more loose because of that tunnel. But all in all, I would definitely have to say that the cigar in and of itself, the way it's built, and just the profiling on it is still a really great smoke altogether.
Good. I'm still getting a little bit of the cocoa, a little bit of the leather. I'm not getting much of the oak anymore. The cocoa is again out on the finish after I've done exhaling, but again, that's the aftertaste. So, build-wise, fantastic cigar. It's held together pretty well. I've only had to touch it up a couple times. I guess the big question is, would you recommend this cigar?
You know, honestly, for this particular cigar, I would have to say I would recommend it, especially for, of course, the folks that like to pair their cigars with a drink. I will definitely say that with this cigar, the Dragon's Milk did definitely pair very well with it. It accentuated the cocoa very well. And honestly, it actually helped out a lot with the spice.
Good.
Even though we got that bite, it was still, the milk evened it out a little bit. All in all, I would definitely recommend it to folks.
Good.
Definitely at least try it at least once.
Absolutely. Again, I would highly recommend this cigar. Again, it pairs really, really well with the Guinness Blonde. I love the flavor of this thing. It's just a fantastic cigar. Even if you don't pair it with anything, I still love the flavor. And it's really well priced. I think here in Colorado, it's what, $9, $10?
It's $8.75 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ones we have actually been aged for probably a year or two in the humidor.
Definitely.
So that definitely helps with the flavor. So I hope you liked this video. It's a little bit longer cigar review because this was a bigger cigar. But if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all at the Dapper Man US. And if you're watching this video, you're already on YouTube at the Dapper Man. And of course, I'll write up a full review for the website, thedapperman.org. Well, that's all for now. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you soon.